Well, good morning, everybody. I want to say on behalf of Workforce Solutions for Tarrant County and all our guests and panelists, welcome to this month's Virtual Hiring Fair Days webinar. For any of you who wanted to join with that last month, I hope you all survived those power outages and cold temperatures well, but that precluded our ability to conduct this event. And we're glad to be back with you this month. So before we get into speaking with our guests today, I want to let everybody know that Tarrant County's virtual job fair will be happening on the 31st, which is Wednesday from 9 until 2. Workforce Solutions for Tarrant County will have over 70 employers with over 2,400 job openings available to you through that hiring event on Easy Virtual Job Fair platform. I'm going to, in the chat, paste a link so that you can register for that event and talk with those employers via chat and visit their virtual booths and see what all sorts of opportunities are available with them. Having said that, today we have some opportunities in front of us with Upspire. And Riella, a recruiting coordinator, is joining us with Upspire. We have Valverde, who is the associate production recruiter for Cargill in Fort Worth. And joining us in a few minutes, we should have Lynne Hornblock, who is an HR generalist with Fort Dearborn. So without any further ado, I want to ask Ryan to unmute and say good morning to Ryan with Upspire. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. We're very excited
so much for joining us.
Be here again. We haven't been able to do this in a while, so this is exciting. So I guess I'll start by just explaining a little bit about who we are. Upspire is a social enterprise of the Presbyterian Night Shelter Agency. Basically what that means is that we live in the for-profit and not-for-profit world simultaneously, but we function as a staffing agency. We currently focus on hiring entry-level labor positions. We do have a lot of different opportunities. I'll get to those in just a minute. We are currently, for the most part, very background friendly. It depends on the position that we're going to be looking at someone applying to. But for the most part, with the exception of some of the more major ones, which I can go over those specifics if there's any particular questions about that, I can typically find someone employment opportunities. We have worked very hard at creating a pretty quick turnaround for our employment opportunities. If someone has been a resident of the state of Texas for at least the last 10 years, we can typically have between their drug screen and their background completed the day of the interview, the day that they come in to apply. And for the most part, most of the positions they'd be able to step into that following business day. So real quick turnaround to be able to get people into a job very quickly. I do need 2 forms of ID when someone comes in. So ID or driver's license and social security card or birth certificate. The ID does have to be valid or current. Unfortunately, I can't accept an expired ID. But we do currently have 2 different setups as far as interviews. So depending on what works best for you, I have interviews at True Worth Place Monday through Thursday at 9 a.m. For afternoon appointments, Monday through Friday, you would just contact me directly. But as far as the opportunities, we have great need for our driver helper positions. This is very literally the guy that's hanging on the back of the trash truck. That's the best way that we can describe it, but there's long-term permanent placement and pay increases. It is the most physically demanding job that we currently staff. So there are certain things that applicants would have to be able to do, such as handling heavy objects, average of between 50 to 75 pounds, be able to do that over the course of anywhere from an 8 to 14-hour day. And then, of course, we know Texas weather can be fun, so being able to handle that in however Texas is feeling that day. But it's a really great long-term opportunity. There is, with one of our customers, the opportunity to potentially get a CDL. So that's really great. We do have a pipe treatment facility that we staff that we're currently looking for both day and night shifts to be filled. These guys are typically handling anywhere from 80 to 100 pound steel pipes that are meant for oil and gas fields. And they're essentially being brought in for heat treatment. So being able to handle those heavy objects in what could be kind of a warm atmosphere can be a little bit of a challenge, but that's also one of our permanent placement opportunities with a pay increase opportunity as well. And then as far as some of our other less laborious positions, still labor, but not necessarily as intensive, our litter crews are looking for more people. And ideally, if someone has a driver's license, we'd like to put them potentially in a driver lead position. And then we do have something that's a little bit special with Upspire. We provide transportation for our employees. And so in order to help ensure that they are able to maintain long-term employment, sometimes it's just a matter of being able to get to work on time every day. And so as long as an applicant can get to our operations, we are going to make sure that they get to work on time and we bring them back at the end of their shift. And right now we are in need of another member of our team who does exactly that. So being able to get in, handle kind of a hectic morning, but making sure that people are getting to and from their job sites in a timely fashion. And it does help to have a little bit of knowledge when it comes to vehicles. You know, if there's a weird clanking sound, it's good to know that that may not be the right kind of sound you want from the vehicle. But that, along with our litter crews, those are permanent placement within our organization. So the growth opportunities come within the growth of our organization. And let me tell you, Upspire is very growth minded. So we want people who are in it for the long haul. I guess, Jason, do you want me to give out my contact information?
Yeah, any contact information that you'd like is fine. We're going to be having these job opportunities posted on Work in Texas. But Ryan, if there are other places people can go to apply, you absolutely go ahead and put those out there. If you want to put any of your contact information in the chat, you can certainly do that as well.
I will include my contact information in the chat. Another great place, though, to check it out other than Workforce Solutions would be on Indeed. You can check, do a search for Upspire and see all of our available opportunities, and it includes the full job description. So it gives you a little bit of a better idea of what you're looking to get into. And then our website, upspire.org. Is another great place to check out a little bit more about who we are as an organization and then what career opportunities that we have available at that time. Yeah.
Fantastic. So Ryan, go ahead, if you could, once somebody comes on board, you know, talk to me a little bit about that process. You said you get people turned around pretty fast. Go ahead and talk about, you know, what day one startup looks like for somebody, and also a little bit about you know, is the process for interviewing multi-step? Is it virtual or in person these days? How are we handling those kind of things?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we do in-person interviews. We do keep them as brief as possible. We want to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe, of course, and we all wear a mask. I'm just not wearing one right now because I'm nice and locked up in a room by myself. But everybody wears masks and keeps socially distant. The interview process is basically more paperwork than anything, just getting everything in order. Like I said, the background and the drug screen are taken care of that day. If someone has lived in another state, we just have to simply send it out for a little bit more of a thorough background check. And that can take a little bit longer, unfortunately, and we don't have a whole lot of control over it. But for the most part, we've got a pretty quick turnaround. So the first day, for the most part, is coming in. We go over more of the details again about the job that someone is specifically interested in. I get those IDs. We run through the paperwork. I get the background taken care of. They go and get their drug screen taken care of. We have everything ready to go that day. If we are able to, then we have been able to get people in later that day for an orientation in order for them to get started working that very next day. So we have been able to do that. Most of it is usually the interview stuff gets taken care of that first day. And then the second day the person comes in, we go through an onboarding process where they fill out another packet of information. But then we go over a presentation, a little bit more of the specifics about our organization, pay schedule, how insurance works. All of our full-time employees are eligible for full benefits. That's health, vision, dental, life insurance, short-term, long-term disability. We have a referral program. We have paid time off. All of those great things are available to everybody after a probationary period. So we go over more of those pieces. And then certain jobs do require specific training prior to their first day of work. So for example, our driver helpers go through just a short video that kind of gives the breakdown of what a day in the life of looks like for them. And then after orientation is complete, then our HR processor, her name is Shawanda Kennedy, or another member of our career development team, takes them over to meet with their operations manager, who then at that point goes over very specific details as far as, okay, so if you're coming in tomorrow for your first day, here's what I need you to bring. Here's the time that I need you to show up. Here's what we're going to be doing. We do provide PPE. So for, again, like for example, the driver helper, they are required reflective vests, eyewear, gloves, things like that. So we do make sure that everybody has everything that they need so that they can successfully go out there and complete their first day safely. And then they've got everything they need to get started. So we just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get these people into positions as quickly as possible, so that they can start seeing the income coming in as quickly as they can.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So it sounds to me like, you know, those opportunities for somebody who is just starting out or maybe getting over a challenging period in their life, that's a good place to get a foothold, increase your personal brand as an employee, as well as have some great benefits available to them.
Absolutely. And we always have, I meant to mention this before, we always have new opportunities that become available. So I always tell everybody that if the things that I have at that time are not something that someone's interested in, to always check back with me. I just included all of my contact information. So if none of those are really very interesting, like I said, Upspire is very growth minded. So we're always seeing new opportunities becoming available. So anybody is welcome to reach out to me at any time just to say, hey, so I heard you talk about this one. Is something different available now? Or when can we expect maybe this other position to open back up again?
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. I've seen a couple of questions come through that we've answered. And as did you see any that I missed there, Lisa?
One person wanted to know how many locations do you have, and do you have any IT positions at this time?
So Upspire is currently located in Fort Worth, just outside of downtown. All of our operations and admin team functions in Fort Worth. And for the most part, we do have a lot of positions that are staffed in Fort Worth. But right now we do have positions available for driver helpers in Arlington. And I believe, I think Arlington is the only other city right now, but we have had opportunities available in Dallas as well. And so that's also one of those things that, you know, as someone's checking in, those location opportunities may change. As far as IT, we don't staff positions like that at this time. We are currently focused on those entry-level labor positions.
Okay. And there was one other question or something that I thought you should elaborate on. You mentioned that you had some internal positions, and that's driving people back and forth to work.
Mm-hmm.
What is that position called?
That is the staffing driver. This person works full-time, so they're as well eligible for those full benefits after 90 days. They essentially come in, let's say it's our morning staffing driver. That person would have their group of people that they're responsible for getting out to their work site, whether it's somewhere in Fort Worth or out in Arlington. They are not using their own personal vehicles for these employee transports. We have our own fleet of trucks and multi-passenger vans. So depending on which crew that they're responsible for, they get everybody loaded up, make sure that everyone has everything that they need. We do also provide lunches and waters. So we want to make sure that any of our employees that are in need of it have as much food and water that they need to stay nourished and hydrated during their day. So the staffing driver just makes sure that everybody that they're taking out to their job site is there, is ready to go, is going to have a successful day, and then takes them out there, make sure that they're getting clocked in, because we don't want anybody working for free. And then anybody who either maybe doesn't get sent out that day, or something came up, they have to leave, the staffing driver brings them back to our operations and then kind of does it back and forth for the rest of their shift.
Okay. So are they responsible for helping with like their time or anything else? It's just driving, getting them back and forth, helping them clock in, making sure that they're there. And okay, how much experience are you looking for that position?
We don't need a ton of experience beyond, someone who's obviously been driving for maybe a few years.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, someone that has a little bit of a higher organization ability to stay organized, because there are, for example, our driver helpers that are going out to our placement in Arlington. There is roughly 8 to 10 that the person's going to be responsible for, and maybe there's only 6 of them that day. Well, who's not here? I need to make sure I'm going through my list. I've got everybody checked off. I'm calling the people that aren't there, figuring out what's going on so that I can report that back to operations, and then they can handle it beyond that point. But for the most part, it's a fairly relaxed position beyond that initial launch. And we want someone who can handle kind of that back and forth, is comfortable being in obviously a vehicle with multiple people, which right now is still kind of a thing. But beyond that, it is a very highly trusted position. So we want someone who obviously we can rely on to be there. It's very important that these people are there on time, that they're getting clocked in, that everything's getting taken care of. So.
Okay. And so would you call that an entry level position for your organization, actually?
I would still classify that as somewhat entry level, because other than, not being a brand new driver and being comfortable in maybe a larger vehicle, there's not much more other experience that would necessarily translate. Obviously, anybody who has experience in some sort of a shuttle, or maybe someone who's worked on the bus, things like that, because of the level of organization, and then obviously just the mechanics itself, would obviously be ideal.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Those opportunities sound really good and promising. So good.
I may have missed it. Did you say anything about a CDL opening or position?
So one of the really great opportunities that we have with our driver helper positions, one of our customers is looking for people that they can begin to groom to be their drivers in the future. So when someone is interested in that kind of a position, especially if they already have a valid driver's license and they're looking to potentially get their CDL, or maybe started in on the process and then the pandemic hit and they were like, okay, well, I can't do that right now. This customer is looking to put these people through the program itself to get their CDL at their expense, not the applicant's expense. It's not something that would be done right away. There's the initial probationary period that they want to see The person can handle the responsibility of the driver helper, can handle the job and the stresses that come with it. And then after a 90-day probationary period, they're evaluated for that permanent placement. So once that person is hired on by the customer, then they begin to work towards getting that CDL. Now, if someone already has a CDL, then that's another really great opportunity, because while we don't staff for the drivers themselves, that particular customer would be interested in moving them into a driving position shortly after that probationary period is concluded.
Okay.
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 I hope that answers your question, LaMonica. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on in the interest of time. And being that we're one of our employers hadn't joined us, everybody's getting a little extra time today.
Mhm.
But we're going to move on to Karen Valverde. And thank you very much, Ryan. You said you were going to hang out for the rest of the hour, right? Very
Yeah,
good.
I am. I'm gonna mute myself for just a second.
All right.
Okay. So we have with Cargill, Karen Valverde, who is an associate production recruiter. And oh, hi, Karen. And Karen, we've been working with for a long time, helping her staff in a couple of different facilities where positions, I don't ever remember a time, Karen, where you weren't filling these positions. It's a very dynamic workplace, and the production just goes on regardless. So I'll let you elaborate a little bit more on Cargill and what's happening with you guys these days.
Sure. So for those of you that do not know, Cargill is a meat production facility. There are 2 locations here in Fort Worth. Some people get spooked when we say meat production. This is not a harvest facility. Everything is already prefabricated for us, so there's no knife work, there's nothing crazy going on. We're just further processing. So we produce meats. One plant is a grinding facility. So we make ground beef that you can get at grocery stores. We make burger patties for different grocery stores, retailers, restaurants like Sonic, Brahms, Burger King. Kind of interesting to get to see that side of what you're eating. Get to see it full process from grinding the meat to actually getting it packaged and onto your plate. So that's one facility. The other facility is called our cooked facility. We do cook product on site. So we process those meats down. We produce things like soups, quesos, pizza toppings, chilies. So again, it's kind of interesting to see where the food that you buy at the grocery store actually comes from. Both locations, they are meat production. So the types of positions that we're going to have are going to be like packaging positions. So it is an assembly line essentially. In this position, what you are doing is packaging product into its packaging material. It is a very fast-paced environment. You are working in close proximity with other people. I know that is scary right now because of COVID, but we do have lots of precautions in place. Everyone wears face masks. Everyone wears a face shield. We do have dividers in place where we can. So again, the packaging position is just packaging product and then stacking boxes up onto a pallet to get this ready for palletizing. Another type of position that we have is going to be like a grinder operator position. In this position, what you could be doing is operating the equipment that is actually grinding the meat. So that would be adding ingredients, loading meat into the machine, operating the equipment, of course, using a pallet jack. This is also an entry-level position, so there's no previous experience required. General labor positions. We also have crew positions. So this position is just like a general helper within the department. You can be staging product using a pallet jack, stacking boxes, packaging, cleaning up, taking trash. So again, these are all going to be entry-level positions. I do have 2 more positions. One of them is a material handler lead. So this position is a leadership position. It does require material handler experience, so forklift experience if you have that. Leadership, of course, just leading a group of maybe 10, 12 people on a shift, just giving direction, knowing what's going on. So that one isn't entry level, but it is available. And we do have quality tech positions. So quality positions, these are the people that are checking the product to make sure that it meets the specs for our clients. They're taking temperatures throughout the process. They are checking for bacteria, for different viruses within the product, just to make sure that it's safe for all of our clients. So that is also an interesting role if you like more of the science, the lab roles. that is also available. So with Cargill, because we do produce food, the environment is a little bit different in that you do work in a cold, refrigerated work environment. So it is anywhere from 35 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit on the production floor year-round at all times. Very busy, very noisy. It is a production floor after all. We do provide all PPE that is required. So all we need from you is to show up. As far as benefits go, you do qualify for full benefits after the 90-day probationary period. So you'll get full medical, dental, 401k, tuition reimbursement. You'll get the full range of benefits. We also have a clinic that is exclusive for Cargill employees. And this is free of charge for you guys. As long as you're enrolled in our benefits, you can access this clinic at any time. It's open year-round. There isn't a limit on how many visits. It's just a primary care clinic. You can do lab work. You can do, whatever you need primary care. It is available and it doesn't cost our employees anything. So that's a cool benefit that we have. You can apply online at careers.cargill.com. All of our positions are posted. Keep in mind there are 2 plants. So one of them is a grind plant, one of them is a cooked plant. They're both Cargill, they just process different items.
Can you tell us where the location of both plants are? Are they both in Fort Worth?
Yes, so both plants are in Fort Worth. One of them is over near Samuel by the stockyard.
Mm-hmm.
It's right on the edge of town. And the other one is located by Beach Street on East First Street. And they're both close proximity to each other. It's maybe 7 minutes driving from one plant to another. So they're both central to Fort Worth.
Okay, great. And you said that the machine operator position you said you have one of those positions that's open?
Yes, I do have one machine operator position open right now.
Okay. That I didn't have any other. Go ahead.
That's okay. Whenever you guys apply, the way we hire is through a pipeline. So you just apply to one position. It's called general production.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever we get to the portion, that's when we kind of get to talk to the candidates about what positions are open at that time. That's when we'll go through and what it is. The other positions like the material handler and the quality tech, those are posted individually, but any production type of positions, those will be listed under general production.
Okay. All right.
Fantastic. I believe both of those locations are accessible to public transportation as well, aren't they, Karen?
I think a lot of people do use bus service, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. I'm not seeing any questions coming in yet. So, Karen, if you can stay with us, we're going to go ahead and move on with our next employer. We have Lynne Hornblock from Fort Dearborn. Lynne, can you show us, can you activate your camera, please?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how. Oh, let's see if I
okay.
Hi.
There we are. Hi, Lynne.
That was easy.
Good.
I do have a deck, but I'm not sure how to share it. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so you should be able to just go to the center bottom of your screen where it says share screen.
Oh, hello. Okay.
And you should be able to do that.
Excellent.
And then in the lower right-hand corner of that panel, bingo.
Awesome. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah, it looks great.
Wow. Okay. I feel very technologically advanced right now. This is exciting. So yeah, I'm Lian. I'm the HR generalist here at Fort Dearborn in Fort Worth. We are a pretty big company, 17 facilities across the United States and Canada. This is the only one that we do have in Texas, though. We are in the printing industry, so it is a skilled trade industry. Here's a map of some of our facilities. We're spread out a lot on the East Coast, not so much, past Texas towards the west. but there's quite a few of us. We do work very hard to arrange for transfers between facilities. Like if people have family, that was a big thing when COVID started last year, was people trying to get back to family. They were able to move with a job if we had a location in the area they were going to. So we produce lots of different types of labels. We are an essential business, and we have continued to operate throughout COVID. No reduction in staff, no lost hours, nothing like that. We're a locked facility, so we don't interact with the public, and we have a lot of COVID safety measures in place. So we've been able to do that very safely. We produce all these different types of labels across the company, but in Fort Worth, the one thing we do is cut and stack, which is circled there. So you have definitely seen our products at the grocery store. We print about 50,000 different images from this facility. So there's lots of stuff that we do. We are, have lots of well-known customers here locally. We don't do any paint, so we don't do the Sherwin-Williams, but we touch just about every single one of these customers. All of the Ozarka water labels come out of this facility. So especially around times of natural disaster, things like that, we tend to be very busy because we provide a lot of the labels that those companies need to put things on the shelves. So in terms of our current open positions, we have a wide variety. What's great about our opportunities is that, again, locked facility, so you're only here with about 30 people in a pretty enormous building. We work on 12-hour shifts, and so it averages about 44 hours a week, 36 hours one week and 48 hours the next. The shifts you can see on here are divided into front half of the week and back half of the week. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with Wednesday being the swing day. So every other week you work 4 days. So that's a lot of time off, which is really nice, while still maintaining over full-time hours. We do offer an 80-cent differential for night shift, and we are hiring quite a few night shift positions at this moment in time. So just a breakdown of some of our what we consider entry-level positions: the packer, material handler, stacker, and jogger. These are the positions that I bring people into the most frequently, again, because we are a skilled trade. This is where we usually start people, and then they grow with the company. So I have people who start and really bring, the hustle, and are promoting within 90 days, within 60 days, within a year. There's lots of opportunity here. We're constantly looking to recruit from the folks we already have here for our more skilled positions. But this is where they start out. We do have medical, dental, vision. There is no waiting period for benefits. We get you signed up on the first day. We have a 401k with a 6% match. We provide life insurance. That's company paid, a year of your pay in life insurance to whoever is designated as your beneficiary. You begin accruing vacation time on day one. We have 9 paid holidays per year. And so, especially at the end of the year, in a lot of manufacturing, it's difficult to get sort of, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, right? Sometimes it can be one or the other. At the end of the year, all of those holidays are 2 days. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's are all 2-day holidays, and they're paid regardless of whether or not it's your scheduled working day. We have all kinds of programs: referral bonus, attendance bonus. We do lots of company engagement events. So last year, trying to figure out how to do something social distanced, we have an employee-run fund committee that plans all this stuff for us, and they actually came up with the idea to rent out the drive-in. So we actually rented out the Cowtown Drive-In and had a big event there, very socially distanced. We all voted on the movie. Everyone voted for the Grinch. So we watched the Grinch, and the company provided, food from the concessions and everything. So we do a lot of that kind of stuff. Our company has been around just under 100 years, about 97 years. This facility has existed in Fort Worth for about 80 years. We used to do all of the ranch style beans labels down at on the railroad tracks, but now we're located off of 35 in Meacham. So we're very centrally located. I do believe that there is a bus line that passes relatively close to here, but there's also the train that is pretty close as well. So those are sort of the basics.
Wow, that's plenty. That is plenty. So it sounds like there's good opportunity to grow with the company there, and certainly good benefits as there are with all of our panelists today. Karen, I'm not sure if you can put a web link to your website out there in the chat. I'm getting a few questions about that because people want to use the best way to contact your company or you, but I think generally we go through your website. So if you can put that in the chat, that would be great. Let's see what questions we're getting for Lian here. All right. And so far, am I missing anything there, Lisa?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. Okay, so I want to encourage anybody, if you've got any questions for any of these employers, you can certainly contact them using any of the information put here. If you want to put any contact information in the chat, Lian, please feel free to do that. Obviously, these positions are available and work in Texas, and the companies also have their own sites. But there look to be great entry-level positions and also opportunities to grow with these employers, including benefits package and a minimum of transportation challenges with all of these companies and where they're located. If you're interested in asking about particular career fields or job vacancies that these panelists have not discussed, please check their website and it will let you know what is available with them today. So I want to thank all of our panelists, Ryan Riella with Upspire, Karen Valverde with Cargill, Lynne Hornblock with Fort Dearborn, and there's Lian's contact information for anybody who wants that. And I will let everybody know that our next virtual hiring fair days webinar is going to be April 15th. That's Thursday. It's every third Thursday, and that's again from 11 until noon if we need that much time. And you can find out and register more about those events at workforcesolutions.net/events. Obviously, if you've registered for this one, you know how to do it. And we appreciate you all very much for being here and for attending. And Susan James is raising her hand. Let's see what Susan, can you put your question into the chat? All right, well, I'm not seeing that yet. So I'll leave it again to say thank you very much to all of our panelists for participating, and hopefully this gets people connected on both sides of the equation. And if we don't see you on the 31st at the Tarrant County Job Fair, I will see you next month on our next virtual hiring fair days. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good rest of your week.